Hey guys, and welcome to this video. My name is Louise, and today I'm going to be talking about Addison Rae's debut album, Addison, in honor of its 1 year anniversary coming right up. Can you tell I got some inspiration from the high fashion music video today? I'm not quite serving as much as she is, but I'm still going to talk about the album today. Okay, I bet you all have heard Diet Pepsi or Famous Gun at some point right now, but I'm still gonna give you like the basic informations about the album. The album was released in June of 2025 and it features 5 singles: Diet Pepsi, Aquamarine, High Fashion, Famous Gun, and Times Like These. It consists of 12 songs and is about like 33 minutes long, and I generally prefer shorter albums with better quality. I don't like albums that like contain about 20 songs and like you could have cut like 10 of them. So I prefer shorter albums with like better quality. Although I would have added some bridges to some of these songs, I still prefer a short album. The obvious standout tracks are Diet Pepsi, Famous Gun, and also Headphone Zone, I think because of like the most iconic visuals and also the melody, and I think they just kind of performed well with like a wider audience. It's important to note that she worked with only female producers, which is kind of rare in times of Katy Perry working with Dr. Luke. Um, why would you do that? I think their names, I wrote it down: Elvira Underfjord and Luca Closer, as well as Tove Barman for some background vocals. But I really like that she only worked with female producers and also like new producers in general. Because I mean, I like Jack Antonoff, I like them all, but I feel like we see just a lot of repetitive productions on pop songs these days. And I think why Addison's album sounds so different is also because like she worked with a whole new team. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get into like the music videos, the singles, and I'm gonna talk about like the rest of the album. Pitchfork called every single a little weirder than the last one in the review, which may sound rude, but as we know, like weird music generates more interest than boring music. So I think actually that's a good thing. Okay, so we're just gonna start off with The Diva, Diet Pepsi. We have a clear Lana influence in that video, in the lyrics, like in the visuals. She's holding the American flag. She's talking about losing her innocence in the backseat. I don't think she's copying Lana, but I feel like we can clearly see an influence. She makes use of that kind of whispery singing and like these layered vocals, and she's very good at capturing a feeling, like a specific emotion musically. And this song also introduces us to a motive we'll find later in like many Edison songs, building up a relatively average good pop song to like an explosive crazy ending, like the slowed chorus once again in Summer Forever, in Diet Pepsi, also like building up New York until the song just goes crazy. Okay, so now we're gonna get into Aquamarine. I know this song, it wasn't a letdown, definitely not. It was kind of like another song that's kind of setting the mood for the album, and I think it's still an important part of the album, but I feel like the general public did not like get it that much on their first listen, or like did not react the same way as to Diet Pepsi. Some people said she was already reheating her nachos, which I didn't think she was. I really appreciate that she's doing something different on like every track of this album. Okay, so the world is Addison's oyster. We already get that like within the first few lines. She's often serving iconic lines which like immediately get the public talking, and I appreciate that she's showing us like the real her. I think that's the whole point of the song. Okay, so our girl is transforming, she's realigning. She's often said in podcasts that people accuse her of like faking this personality, of like accusing her of this all just being part of like a bigger persona she's trying to portray. But I feel like, first of all, to me, I don't really think so. And also, she said that she's just never really showed her true personality on TikTok before. So basically that's like the real her now. I really like the note she's ending on, telling us she's free now. And I feel like it really takes us onto the story of the whole album. She transformed, she realigned, she's free now. She's ready to show the true her, like her true identity to the public. And y'all are sleeping on high fashion. Let me just say that. I love high fashion. I understand that it's not like musically a song you would just like put on when you're like cleaning your room or just want to get into some kind of fun mood, but I really feel like the listener is supposed to work with high fashion, and I really like songs that force me to kind of get to know the song through time. Once again, she's throwing in these random lines, these revealing lines. I know how to make the hard things look really easy. I feel like she tries to be America's sweetheart, and many people think that Addison is dumb. I mean, we've all seen the clips of like her TikTok days, and I mean, she just seems like the most basic blonde girl. I know that, but like, I feel like people underestimate her, and she's very smart, empathetic, and caring. And she really shows us in that song that she wants empowerment through like long lasting success, through high fashion, and not just like cheap love or like cheap drugs. And she's high on the feeling of being successful and like being appreciated, being seen, being understood. And I know this song just leaves up so much space for interpretation. That's just my idea of the song. I also like how the interlude with the drug ending fades into this song and she kind of turns the statement around. So I really like the concept she thought of. Now we're gonna get into like one of my most streamed songs last year on Spotify. I think like only Sue Me was before that. Um, but Famous Again is the pop song to me. It's like the Addison Rae mission statement to me. Um, to me, it's like her best song ever. She's breaking the fourth wall immediately. Tell me who I am. Do I provoke you with my tone of innocence? She confesses she always wanted more. People can make fun of her old movie, her brand collaborations, her TikTok era. They can like repost these clips on TikTok. She's onto the joke. She's reposting these videos. She's onto the joke. You can't make fun of somebody who's onto the joke. I like that she is transparent about wanting fame and recognition. That's something I mentioned in my last video. I like that about Adele as well. I like people who like honest and transparent about that. She believes in herself and she believes that she's going to make it despite people not wanting to address her skills and people like constantly making fun of Addison. I've noticed that. I really like that hate is only making her desire grow as she like continues on with her journey. Shirley wants to prove to herself and her haters um, that she's doing it. I mean, not that she will eventually. I mean, she's already doing it, and she wants to build some kind of like legacy or like some kind of career, and she really believes in herself. But it's also like sadly very revealing, in like in that way. Nothing makes her feel as good as being loved by us, by the public, by people who have interest in her career and her music, and I like that she's so honest about that. I feel like artists don't really want to get vulnerable about that kind of stuff. I hear many people say that just they like their music, they don't care if other people like it, they don't care about charts and like other stuff, which is always a lie because why would you put it out in the first place? I feel like people always kind of care about some kind of recognition. Okay, headphones on. I love this song. I can explain how much I love this song. I really feel like the whole concept of the song is acceptance, and it really serves the most iconic Addison Rae visuals, in my opinion, so far. Like in her, like the concept of her living this average life, and like in front of this supermarket, and then she's suddenly like living her dreams, being the highest version of herself on this horse, and I think she looks majestic. She looks majestic when she's riding on that white horse, like with her pink wig. She just looks amazing. Also, considering the lyrics, I feel like music works as like escapism here. I also like that she's revealing some of her insecurities here. She's comparing herself, but she still gets dolled up. She's very hopeful, and she's also kind of a manifestation queen. I feel like she really is a believer in like the universe and herself, and that everything will work out eventually, and she's willing to accept everything else that happens. Okay, Times Like These really is interesting. It was the last single that came out. I feel like it kind of got like forgotten because people were so interested in the album as a whole, and I love this. I mean, I love every song, but I love this song because it's a glimpse behind the facade, like behind her confidence. It's kind of contradictory to Fame is a Gun, and many singers like incorporate some kind of element of a commentary on fame in their albums, and I like the way she's doing it. She knows what people expect from her. She's confused. I like that she's basically just saying, I'm so confused, because that's something everyone can relate to, and therefore everyone can understand. Even though we're not famous, we're not in the spotlight as the listener, we immediately feel connected to her because confusion can really crush you as an emotion. Fame can crush you, and Fame always seems to rush over her. She seems very overwhelmed from all the pressure. But she's also kind of in a like toxic relationship with Fame because she really wants it. She's in love with Fame, in love with the version of her she's created, but also kind of like I know she's kind of suffocating under the pressure from the public. She brings up family drama, and she is again like breaking the fourth wall and asking the listener for advice and for like answers. She can't seem to find herself. We don't know if she's asking the listener, if she's asking just herself and just speaking to herself. It could also just be in the monologue we're listening to because it's so revealing and kind of just it feels like something you would like mumble to yourself before you go on stage. I don't know if anyone has ever made that comparison. Maybe that's not an original thought now, but I really really see a connection. It really reminds me, like theme wise, of Olivia Rodrigo's Making the Bed. Like I'm so tired of being the girl that I am. Every good thing has turned into something I dread. But it's me who's been making the bed. So you're setting yourself up for fame and also like everything that comes with it, the downsides. And I feel like you're very alone in this situation. I mean, who's there to ask? No one is you. You can talk to other celebrities, other singers, but no one is the Addison Rae. It's not like you go to college and study something and just ask your neighbor for advice. No one is doing what Addison Rae is doing. Also, no one is doing what Taylor Swift is doing. I mean, who's there to ask? I also really like the ending again. Head out the window, my song on the radio, let's see how far I'll go. It's such a great question to ask. And also she's telling us she's hearing the criticism from afar. She knows that people are questioning her success. Will she have a long lasting impact? Is this just like the Addison Rae moment right now and people will forget about her eventually? And she's just trying to be this happy kind of persona and girl she actually is, and just trying to enjoy the moment, even though everything just seems so temporary. Okay, so now I'm gonna continue chronologically with the rest of the album. So we're just gonna talk about New York. She's this famous girl. She gets picked up from the airport. She drops her bags at like famous hotels. And this song really reminds me, production-wise, of Charlie XCX. We can hear the clubbing influence. It's a great album opener, like this. Take a bite of the Big Apple. Gives me chills all over my body. And New York is like often used as a place for inspiration. There are multiple songs about New York, and she still kind of put her own spin to it. I mean, she's actually from LA, so it's really nice to see that she kind of found like artistic inspiration and freedom in New York. It kind of proves just the point of what New York means to artists. I've talked about finding yourself and coming to terms with things you can change as like a mission statement or like a theme of the album, and I feel like you can really hear how she's finding herself in like the first track already. She found freedom in New York and she found like inspiration in New York, and now she's about to go on the journey of kind of like finding herself. Her mama always told her to save her money so she'd never have to rely on a man. Love that statement, love the song Money's Everything. It's like an ironic commentary on wealth and like fame and an homage to her icons and role models like Madonna, Lady Gaga, Lana Del Rey. And I love that she's saying the girl I used to be is still a girl inside of me. Stop making fun of her, guys. She's still that girl somewhere deep inside of her, and she was also just like a teenager back then. She's mentioning Marilyn Monroe, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, and now that I'm making this video, y'all have seen the clip of like her screaming Madonna in the club. I don't know, y'all have seen that. Stop making fun of it. I think it's camp. I think it's funny. We need more celebrities to be acting like that. Everything's so polished and perfect, and everything's suddenly so embarrassing. I don't think that's embarrassing. This clip is exactly what she's talking about, and Money's Everything. Like, exactly what she's talking about. And it's just a fun song. People who don't get it are dumb. She's obviously not the richest girl in the world, but y'all just don't get it. I also just want to add Addison seems like a fun girl. She seems fun to be around, and I like that she's so camp and funny sometimes. And I don't like the term iconic. I don't want to call everything and everyone suddenly iconic, but I'd at least say she's so cool. She's so flawlessly cool and like aesthetically appealing, but still kind of messy. And she just has this cool, messy it girl energy to her. I mean, she's on my wall like multiple times, like the praying meme. She's so funny. I just people don't get her. I feel like people really just don't want to get her. People would rather just hate on a girl trying. Okay, the next song is actually like very sad, but it doesn't sound sad like musically. It has like a special melancholic feeling to it, but you can also like dance in front of the mirror to it. I don't know. It's it's like very I feel like it's a very female feeling and has a very female sound to it. I feel like it's the most underrated song of this album, in my opinion. She's like painting this picture of her crying in the rain so no one sees, and she's only crying when it doesn't bother anyone. She's just a nice girl, and she's protecting herself. She's fine with being misunderstood. She's really protecting her peace, however, it still bothers her, obviously. She really wants to be the nice and happy girl. She wants to appeal like that to the public. And that's also why we won't find any like ballads on this album. This is Addison. This is Addison being sad. She's never really the kind of sad you expect from her. She's the I'm smiling, I'm turning around, and like I'm like kind of sad, but I'm gonna continue. I'm not gonna start crying. I feel like sadness goes like hand in hand with the acceptance thing on this album. She's accepting that she can change some things, and that sadness will always kind of play a big role in her life, but she won't let it stop her. Okay, Summer Forever is like just a love song. It's Diet Pepsi's sister. It has this slowed ending I mentioned. It uses a lot of late vocals again, like these echo sounds. If you're in love during the summertime, this is your song. I love this song personally. I can see why people say it's Diet Pepsi, just like in another font, but I still like this song. It's revealing of her perspective on love and how it was kind of crashed by like the divorce of her parents and everything that went on in her family, and how she really believes in true love. That's also why I feel like she tries to love herself that much. We can see a lot of self-love, self-growth throughout this whole album, but she still kind of has like a cracked image, and I feel like she's trying to heal how she deals with love and being in love in a relationship. I'm gonna talk about the interludes quickly. I love that she's bringing back interludes. I don't feel like we need like necessarily like two or three of them, but I feel like they made sense like through the storyline of the album, and I'd rather have like great interludes than just two basic TikTok sounds. Like I don't want like TikTok songs all over the album. I'd rather have like two good interludes and then great singles built around that. They feel essential in the album storyline, and I like Lost and Found because it's like reinventing and like getting to know yourself from time to time again. And I like how it fades like drug into high fashion. I already mentioned that. I think she mentioned in a podcast that she picked the phrase "life's not fun through clear waters" up like somewhere, and it was kind of a phrase that was in her head and kind of an inspiration for the album storyline. I feel like it just makes sense. It fades into Headphones On, the closing track, and I like how the interludes are very connected. I mean, I can listen to them. If I listen to the album on shuffle, I don't skip them. Okay, now I'm going to talk about what makes this album evergreen to me, what makes it so special to me, what makes it stand out for me. First of all, it's an introduction to the pop persona Addison. I feel like she dropped the Rae, so just Addison. That's why it's self-titled. Because she basically said she played it to everyone. Everyone said, "Yeah, it just sounds like you," and they couldn't really come up with another title than her name because it's very just like it's like her as an album basically. I love to describe it as I feel like it's like an entry, like a deep entry into a friendship book, like from middle school or like kindergarten or elementary school, and it gives the listener the feeling of really knowing her, even though we actually don't know her. Okay, so now I'm just gonna throw some random adjectives in the room, but I really thought of things or like words that I associate with her music. It feels like manifesting a dream, something you dreamt of for a long, long time, and manifesting something that will come true one day. Feels dreamy, melancholic, hopeful, kind of nostalgic. I don't know, like, why. I don't know what she reminds me of. Like, such a specific feeling of nostalgia. Relating it back to the album aesthetic, it really feels colorful and blurry at the same time, kind of like a rainbow. You can see it like on the album cover. She also mentioned that she showed up to the first label meeting like with a binder full of words and pictures and just inspiration. And you can see that she really put effort into finding and building her visual identity. And I feel like her visuals on Headphones On really describe it the best, the feeling of escaping and using music as escapism and just trusting in your dreams and feeling like you're destined to be somewhere else. And I feel like that's also what creates this nostalgic feeling. Everyone kind of felt like that at some point. And now she really is that cool girl, that it girl I've mentioned. I feel like that all really started when she was seen reading that Britney memoir. We've all seen the pictures. But I feel like it's very important for her that the public understands that she's always been like that, and also her other facets also don't really contradict with her being cool sometimes and maybe on other times not. And I really feel like she really wants us to see her in every way. I feel like she's doing something no one else in mainstream pop is doing right now, like working with new producers, like this production, this specific sound, admitting she wants fame and recognition, but also like sharing the downsides. There's like this whole category of like the I Hate Fame album from singers, so I feel like they often talk about the downsides of fame, but she's offering us a new perspective. She manages to do something that is very hard as a pop star, or like hard as an artist. As an artist, you're like famous. You're standing in the spotlight, and it's hard to talk about topics and make them relatable to like the average human being. That's why Taylor Swift is so good at writing, because she manages to capture feelings or like experiences she experienced and still make them relatable for us as the listeners. And Addison Rae is doing the same thing, but like I feel like more musically and like through the visuals and like topics she's talking about. And also the concept of finding yourself, reinventing, getting to know yourself is something we all go through. Like I constantly feel like I'm changing. I'm looking at my last video and I don't feel like that's me anymore. And I'm gonna look at this video and also feel like I've changed so much in a few months. She said that on New York, on Aquamarine, she feels very free, but she also kind of seems to feel stuck at the same time. She talks a lot about acceptance and like having to come to terms with things you can change. And that's something everyone can relate to. And that's also why she talks about wanting to live in her dreams and like how she would prefer to live in like this dream world, like as the highest version of herself during tough times. This record will always resonate with someone. That's what makes it so special. It's not just like an album you listen to when you're going through a tough heartbreak or when you're feeling very, very happy and enthusiastic. It's a feeling that people are constantly feeling. I feel like you're always changing, you're always kind of trying to find your identity, then you feel like you found it, then you lost it again. And it's something that everyone can relate to, no matter if you're famous or not. Even 1 year later, this album still feels new to me. Maybe I'm gonna look at this review in a few months and also have a different perception on this album, because my perception and like kind of my interpretation of these songs is constantly changing. I never get tired of it. I keep finding things I find really interesting. I keep looking at other people's perceptions of it, other people's opinion on this album, and I love how she's referencing, like for example, her inspirations like big artists, but she's also kind of still being herself. She's just taking some kind of inspiration and she's building this persona, and we're like watching live. I honestly don't think she'll ever be a main pop girl. I don't see her like, I can see her selling out stadiums one day, but I don't think that's her goal necessarily. I think she built a consistent fan base which will grow eventually, and I think it's important for her to be understood. And this certain fan base understands her, and I think the general public does or will ever really do, which may seem kind of sad, but I feel like it's better to have like a consistent fan base than be liked by everyone. Also, hearing the songs live, like at her Coachella performance, just confirmed my thoughts. She really wants this. She's doing solid Britney references. People get really mad when someone says this. I'm not comparing these two. Britney has a completely different legacy than Addison, but people also compare Tate and Britney, and I also wouldn't compare them. I really wouldn't compare these two. Um, but I'm not saying that Addison and Britney are doing the same thing, definitely not. But she's referencing her. I mean, they both have that Louisiana connection, and I think she's doing it the right way. Also, Addison may not hit every note, and she's not the strongest vocal queen. I feel like she's still improved. She's still singing live. She proves that she's singing live, and she meets every vision and concept. And I feel like that's the best thing you can do, and it kind of cancels out everything else. She's performing her ass off on that stage. She looks amazing. And have you seen her I Got It Bad remix, like Coachella performance? It's amazing, go look at it. I'm interested in hearing, what did you think about the album when it first came out? Has your perception changed so far? Maybe for worse, maybe for better? Has this video maybe changed your opinion? Thank you for watching this video. Comment down below, like this video, maybe subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye.